Hi everyone, welcome to Math Learning Hub, a hub for everybody who loves math. So I'm Chanya, and today I'll be teaching you how to compare fractions. And so this method works when the fractions are relatively small and they're numbers that you can easily multiply and compare, right? So basically, to start off, we have this idea of cross multiplication, which is written on the top corner in yellow. And so what this is basically depicting here is that we basically have two fractions, right? We have two fractions. There's one here, there's one there. And then so what cross multiplication essentially is that you multiply the denominator of one fraction with the numerator of the other, right? And then you do the same thing. You multiply the denominator of the other fraction with the numerator of the other one. So that's this idea of cross multiplication, and this is going to be pretty helpful when you're comparing fractions. So we're just going to do the cross multiplication on this on this problem, rather, and I'm just going to jump in and do problem number 1 and show you the process in the way. So basically, doing cross multiplication on this first problem, you have 5 multiplied by 5 here, which is 25, right? You have 3 multiplied by 8. Let me actually use a different color. Let me actually write this in red. So you have 5 multiplied by 5 here, which is 25. And you have 3 multiplied by 8 here, which is 24. And then so the number with the greater number on the top is the greater fraction, right? So since 25 is greater than 24, this basically means that 5 over 3 is greater than 8 over 5, because the 25 is above the 5 over 3. So the greater fraction in this case would actually be this one. So now let's jump into the second problem here, which is 4 over 13 times 9 over 30. So we're going to use this idea of cross multiplication again. So I'm going to multiply here 30 times 4, which is going to be 120. And I'm going to multiply here 13 times 9, which is going to be 117. So since 120 is greater than 117, so 4 over 13 is going to be the greater fraction, since the 120 is directly above it. Our last example is 9 over 7, and whether it's greater or less than 13 over 10. So let's do this example together. So first I'm going to multiply 9 times 10, which is 90, right? Next, I'm going to multiply 7 times 13, which is actually 91. So since 91 is greater than 90, the greater fraction is going to be 13 over 10. And then so some of you might be satisfied with this approach, but then other viewers might be wondering, well, why are you doing this? So why does this work? Well, I'm going to take the first problem as an example. So 5 over 3 and 8 over 5, right? So what we're basically doing when we cross multiply is we're basically converting the fractions into fractions with the same denominator, right? So first we need to realize, so what's a common denominator between like 3 and 5? So what's a common denominator we can take? Well, in this case, a pretty good common denominator would be 15, right? Good common denominator would be 15. So this is basically just multiplying these two numbers together to get a good denominator, okay? And then so next, what we basically do when we cross multiply is we convert these fractions into fractions with the same denominator, but we only look at the numerator. So for example, since you have, let's take 5 over 3. 5 over 3, right? So what do we do to convert it to a number over 15? Well, you notice that you multiplied this by 5. You multiply the numerator by 5 as well to convert it to 25 over 15, right? And then, so when you're multiplying by this said 5 here, what you're doing is you're basically multiplying by the denominator of the other fraction. So this is how you get the 25 here and the numerator, right? And to further elaborate on this point and complete the problem, let's just convert 8 over 5 into something over 15, right? 8 over 5 into something over 15. Well, to convert 8 over 5 to a denominator of 15, you have to multiply by 3 on both the top and the bottom, right? So this is when you get 24 over 15. And so again, you notice that you're multiplying by the denominator here of the other number, right? You're multiplying by the denominator of the other number. And then here, this is how you get your 24 here. And so basically, when you're comparing 25 over 15 and 24 over 15, both of which are equivalent to your original fractions, you basically only have to look at the numerator. You don't have to look at the denominator because they have the same denominator. You don't have to consider that. So this is why this cross multiplication method, or sometimes other people call it the butterfly method, this is why it works. And so this is all the math that I'm going to do for today. And I hope you understood this process. And it's one thing to be able to do it, but it's an even better thing to understand how it works. So I've included some practice problems at the bottom that you can hopefully do and check your answers in the description below. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. And keep finding math fun. Bye!